Steven, would you say our friendship is as tight as the one that Sean McVay and Matt LaFleur have?
Oh, no.
Okay. What about the one that Dan Soder and Mike McDaniel have?
Absolutely not.
Well, damn.
What?
Well, how do you prove about that?
Well, we need to be friends for longer.
True, yeah.
Those people have been tied at the hip. Like Dan Soder and Mike McDaniel were childhood best friends. What do you want out of this?
what do I want out of this? Our friendship?
Oh, are you looking for a childhood best friend to me, Derek?
No, I have that already. I'm talking about guys that have each other's backs. Like,
well, sure.
We'll play the clips, but like this is strong friendship here.
Yeah.
Where Sean McVay, of course, is part of the whole play callers tribe of Kyle Shanahan himself, Matt LaFleur, Mike McDaniel, and apparently Ben Johnson has pissed off all of them in this beef he has with Matt LaFleur, which I thought was kind of harmless at first. I thought it was just good, confidence going into a job. He's the head coach of the Bears. Matt LaFleur has been there for quite some time, and he's had success as an offensive coordinator against him, but, he's not the head coach. But, yeah, he gets introduced, and he's like, I've had a lot of success and joy beating Matt LaFleur twice a year. And then he beats him in a playoff game, beats him in the regular season, lost that first time around. And their handshakes have been awkward, to say the least. But you have the clip, Steven, of Peter Schrager, who knows the group pretty well, from Kyle to Sean. Knows Sean very well, actually, from doing a podcast together that summer before they won that Super Bowl, the year they acquired Matthew Stafford.
You want the one from The Ringer, the Bill Simmons?
Yeah, and every time I hear this, I just think of the guy. I can't remember his name. He's an Austin-based comedian, but he does these fantastic clips where he does impressions of guys on Bill Simmons' podcast. Bill Simmons, Peter Schrager. I can only hear his impression here. Let's play Peter Schrager, his insight in the Matt LaFleur group versus Ben Johnson.
That handshake and all that mother F stuff from Ben Johnson did not go over well with the McVay tree, if you will, and around the league. Mike LaFleur is Matt LaFleur's little brother. He's the offensive coordinator for the Rams. And Sean's best friend in coaching is Matt LaFleur. So when you do the utter disrespect and the brazen locker room video where you're saying F the Packers, F that coaching staff, and the social media team clicks go, send it, put it out in the world. And then the next day, when you've got 24 hours to really think about it, to say, no, I'm fine with what I said, and my owner's got my back on that too. This is the WWE part of this, where there's actual personalities involved. And I think McVay wants to kick the snot out of Ben Johnson. And I think Ben Johnson, who's beaten McVay the last 2 times when Detroit played the Rams, has no problem with that. I'll beat the snot out of you. I love these 2 guys, 2 young alpha offensive minds, going at it in this game. I can't wait.
Now, you sent me this clip, and the first time I saw it, all I could think of was that comedian. I think it's Danny Goodwin, where he does a great impression of Peter Schrager, where he's just like, Ben Johnson, man. Ben Johnson does not like Matt LaFleur. Same thing with Sean McVay. But you know what? Both young guys, both movie buffs. Yeah. They like themselves a little one battle after another. Marty Supreme. One guy likes one movie more, but you got to like both of them, though. I think that this is kind of overblown a little bit.
I think so.
Sean McVay was in his press conference this week, and he was asked about the rivalry between Matt LaFleur and Ben Johnson, and he was like, "Yeah, we're good friends." My Sean McVay sometimes is good, and sometimes it's terrible. Right now, it's not good. So I'll talk normally. But he basically was just like, "Yeah, we talk," and even though I just said I'll talk normally, I'm doing the impression. We talk. I picked up the phone, and let's just say me and Matt LaFleur are really good friends. So he's leaning into it, but I don't think he's trying to beat Ben Johnson just because Matt LaFleur lost. I think that's ridiculous. I think he just wants to move in the playoffs. But I do think there is something with Ben Johnson where he kind of has animosity towards Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay and Matt LaFleur and all these guys because they're a pack. They're all connected to each other. And he's like, no, I do it on my own. I'm my own man. I'm Ben Johnson. I'm my own offensive genius.
You really think so?
Kind of.
I don't think so.
I think he respects those. I shouldn't say animosity. I think he respects those guys. I think he's just like, I don't need to be associated with, that group of guys. I do it on my own.
No, I don't think so. I think you're reading into it wrong. I think what also gets lost in it is that Matt LaFleur, Sean McVay, and Kyle Shanahan are among the best in the game. And in order to be the best, you got to beat the best. And I think there was just this inherent hatred for the Packers, and Matt LaFleur just happens to be on the other side of it. Like if Matt LaFleur was with any other team, I don't know. And I understand. Like I think we talked about it with the Fred Warner and Puka Nacua commercial. We're like, God, players just don't believe in these rivalries. Like, sure, they might hate them, but they don't have anything. They don't have any personal vendetta.
No, dude. Logan Webb is going on Mookie Betts' podcast. Come on.
Where it's with the coaches, though, I do think there's something to it. And at least with the Packers and the Bears and the Lions. And I think Ben Johnson's just so entrenched in it all. And I think that's something that'll ingratiate him to the organization.
Yeah.
But the fact that Sean McVay feels like he has to step in, I don't know about it. And Ben Johnson had nothing but good things to say about McVay.
Yeah. No,
he's in the upper echelon of head coaches. Like he's up there and had nothing but respect for him.
I hear you. I think that he respects the hell out of all those play callers. I think he's just kind of like, I don't need part of that. I don't need to be part of that group. I think I'm special in my own way.
Yeah.
And now the other one I was talking about, do you have the Dan Soder clip I sent you?
Oh.
So love Dan Soder. He's got the velvety pipes, great voice. On Billions, right?
Yes, and he sounds like my guy from Silence of the Lambs.
Anthony Hopkins?
No, the Buffalo Bill character.
Oh, would you fuck me? I'd fuck me.
Well, not the actual, but I guarantee you he has an impression of him.
Oh, yeah. He's got an impression of everybody. But so Dan Soder is a big-time 49ers fan. Had a great clip that you sent me with his soon-to-be wife, Katie Nolan, where he loves Alfred Collins. He made a song for him. Alfred Collins eats a can of beans. Go ahead.
And he mentioned that after he said he was singing that while her parents were there, and it was after he just smoked a joint at halftime.
Yeah.
Like that's an awesome dynamic.
When you got chill parents, it's all good. He must be close with the in-laws. So Dan Soder, as I said, big-time 49er fan, and his lifelong, or childhood friend, I should say, is Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel just got axed by the Miami Dolphins, and Dan Soder has a popular podcast, and he was talking to Mark Norman about it, and here's what he had to say.
Watching McDaniel go through this as like a head coach, it's like been my buddy since 7th grade.
Wow, that's crazy.
And it's like awesome. He's an NFL coach.
That's incredible.
And he worked
Comedy.
his way up to a head coach.
But he'll get a gig, right? Somewhere else?
Absolutely. In fact, I think he's better off because I think, and listen to me right now, I think it's a shit organization. I think it's ran by an old fuck that stabbed Mike in the back after he told him he was going to be all right for another season. And fuck the Dolphins. And honestly, fuck Miami as a comedy town. When having a friend that's an NFL coach, you listen more when people talk about your friend. And Troy Aikman shits on McDaniel in a way that I'm like, he doesn't like Mike.
Whoa.
And me and my friend Chad, who grew up with Mike, were like, Chad was the first one who was like, I bet Aikman had something to do with it. And then I was just like, fuck Troy Aikman, looking like white Jay-Z quarterback that was falling off. Tua stinks. But listen, I think McDaniel got fired because he tied himself to Tua and they lost. That's a sign of my friend being loyal. So as a friend, I go, fuck yeah, he stuck with him. And I hope the next team he goes to, the quarterback goes, well, this guy stuck with him, so I believe in him.
Yeah.
So I'll fucking play for it. I just hope McDaniel goes and wins 10 Lombardi trophies and then shoves them up the owner of the Dolphins' asshole one at a time. And I hope the Dolphins never win another game.
Woo!
You're stupid. Your old logo's better. Your new logo looks like a penis jumping through a Nuva ring.
Hey.
Your fans don't know ball. A couple of them at the stadium, it was like crazy watching them not know when to cheer on third down.
Jesus Christ.
Fuck them. Fuck that whole organization.
All right, so two things. Dan Soder sounds like a really good friend. A little too much, though. I'm sure Mike McDaniel's like, dude, I don't need you to say all that. And Mark Norman is the ultimate listener to a story where he just goes, wow, Jesus Christ, holy shit. And I wish that he would chime in a little bit more because you can tell he's kind of disinterested. But Mark Norman's the type of smart ass comedian. He'd be like, "Well, probably because Tua sucks dick. Probably shouldn't be playing him. That's why he lost his fucking job."
I don't know if Mark Norman's like a big sports guy. I don't listen to their podcast too much, so I don't know the dynamic there. But I do hear you because I know like him and Sam Merrill do their own pod, or Sam Morrill, whatever his name is.
Yeah,
he's a big Knicks fan, and they do their own podcast where they
Sam Morrell.
Sam Morrell, yeah, and his stand-up's great, but I don't know. I've strayed away from listening to the comedy podcast because I just like. I don't know. There's just too many thoughts going around. Like I like hearing their thoughts in a stand-up special. Like I don't need them every day. But but Norman usually will come in with like a one-liner or a zinger.
He's pretty good at that.
Yeah, kind of just held it there. However, it's interesting when you make up. I personally loved it. Like I loved everything that he had to say.
Oh no, it's entertaining as hell. It's just that
but Daniel's probably like, dude, I got a job to uphold here. Like. You can't go doing a WWE promo in front of my owner, the one that just previously hired me. Like, how do you think it's going to help you get jobs in the future?
Well, I'm sure that Mike told him that he was assured that he was going to keep going to keep his job, and then he changed his mind. And that's what it sounds like. But I don't think it's because he had loyalty towards Tua. I think it was Aikman wanted him gone. They brought in a new GM, and it just makes sense to clean house. But we'll get to the head coaching carousel that is, and everything with divisional weekend. Just your opinion, man. Stephen Langford, Derek Papa, we're coming to you on a Saturday morning before the 49ers and Seahawks kickoff at 5 o'clock tonight. Before that, we got Bills and Broncos, and then tomorrow it's Texans, Patriots, and Rams and Bears. Before we get to all the football, just real quick, Stephen, the news on Thursday, Kuminga demands a trade. You care? At this point, like, I'm just waiting for the day he gets traded.
I wanted to find this clip. I wanted to find the clip of Windhorst, and I swear to God, it's not AI. It has to be Windhorst. But I tried finding it all through Twitter. It's usually how we play things. And the Instagram is really annoying. It's one of those edits, it has Windhorst saying stuff, and then it brings some badass trap beat into it, like, something. And, starts doing all Brian Windhorst stuff.
My favorite Windhorst video is when they have many men of all his clips.
Yeah. But when they opened the show, it was NBA Today.
Yeah.
They opened the show with Jonathan Kuminga. And Brian Windhorst is looking at all of them. It was a little awkward, but I think a lot of them could tell that he had a point where he's just like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? We're talking about a guy who hasn't played for a month, who you're probably not going to get much value for anyway. I mean, we're the number one NBA show on ESPN nationwide, and we have to talk about a player who hasn't even played in a month.
Thank you.
Where are we going with that? And I just think that I'm feeling the same way about the Kuminga saga now, because it's not doing anything besides causing harm. Like, what good is it doing anybody, any fans, for who's watching the team, for the team itself? Like, did I think he was going to get traded on January 15th as soon as he was eligible? No, because I think they want to field as many offers as they can. And apparently several teams have entered the mix, which is fine. I am interested to see where he goes, but I'm far from thinking this is going to be a deal where you can add Kuminga as the number one piece and you could grab a superstar in return for it. Like, this feels just like a total sell. And unless they're actually trying to make a move for, say, I don't know, at one point it was Michael Porter Jr. Like, say you package a deal with Kuminga and, I don't know, Draymond Green. Moses Moody's played really well as a starter over the last month. Like, do you really want that? I don't know. And then the Nets came out and said that they're not going to sacrifice any of their future draft picks if they're going to they don't want any draft picks for Michael Porter. They want players, and that kind of took the Warriors out of the running. But yeah, I just no. to answer your question, does it matter? Do I care? Not really. I'm more interested with what's happening on the floor. And that game against the Knicks on Thursday, it was a really impressive game. To me, that was one of the more fun games to watch this season, because you watch Jimmy Butler dominate. And there's something fun about watching kind of a slow, methodical player who's just carving up a defense and doing whatever he wanted while watching Moses Moody and Steph Curry hit some threes.
Yeah, Moses Moody and Brandon Pajemski played great in that game, along with Jimmy Butler. I was at that game. And
Al Horford and DeAnthony Melton are skyrocketing too. Will Richards always putting in the effort. Like Kuminga's just the last thing. Like the way that he is buried right now on the bench, that's where he's at in my mind. Just gone. Sorry.
Yeah,
Kuminga.
out of sight, out of mind.
Great teammate. Like you're smiling. You seem like you're in good spirits. I think you need a new agent because the dude that you have right now isn't doing you any favors. But for me, Kuminga's just
I'm in the same boat. I think that they're coming into their own right now, but still they're the 8th seed right now. And as Jimmy Butler said before the Knicks game, they're mediocre. And I would agree with that right now. And I think that Steve Kerr is very honest in saying that we're a fading dynasty and we can't compete with the likes of OKC or the Spurs, the Nuggets. So they do need to make a move. And Kuminga needs to be involved with that. Does that include Moses Moody or Brandon Pajemski? If it means you're getting a high caliber player, then yes, but I don't think that guy's on the table right now. As far as this news, it was so calculated. I think that Aaron Turner, his agent, and Kuminga were waiting for this day. They had it circled on their calendar, as did the Warriors. And even though everybody said the right things at the beginning of the year and Steve Kerr, I thought kind of dishonestly saying that he wants Kuminga in the starting lineup, I thought that was kind of pushed on him. It seems like that way to me. Like, I think that Steve really didn't want to do that. And I blame one guy only, and that's Joe Lacob, and I'll get to him later. But I think that both parties just went through the motions, and it started off well, and then they were just waiting for this date. And now they're going to trade him. If they don't trade him, that's just a colossal failure. Just like it's ridiculous at this point. Just stop the madness. I think the definition of insanity is doing something over and over again and getting no results. So we've been at this for 2 years now, and I'm over it. I know that Kuminga's talented, but he just doesn't fit on this team. I know some people are going to bitch and complain about the potential of what he could have been, but I'm sorry. We're just wasting time here, and it's all about Steph Curry. Like, I agree with Brian Windhorst. What the fuck are we doing here? Let's move on. Let's celebrate Steph Curry in his last two remaining years in the NBA or with the Warriors. It might be more than that, but let's have fun. Let's play with joy, as Steve Kerr said, and this has been joyless with Jonathan Kuminga around. So let's just move on at this point. If you get Michael Porter Jr., great. If you get P.J. Washington, good. If you get, I don't know, who else is out there, like Malik Monk or Keon Ellis, I'll take those guys at this point. Just get anything so we can start embracing this team a little bit more and not just being so disappointed with him sucking the life out of it.
I don't know if I agree with that.
With what?
I don't think he's sucking the life out of the team. I don't think he's like creating any less joy than they might have been having. The reason they're not playing with that much joy is because they're losing basketball games, at least not this recent stretch. I don't think Kuminga is like sucking the joy out of them. I do think it's kind of a nuisance that we know he's going to be traded and he's just kind of sitting there. But I think these guys are professionals, and I don't know.
Hold on. I'm not saying that they're distracted by any means. I thought that it was pretty telling when Steph Curry and Draymond Green were asked about him. And Draymond has his back, and so does Jimmy Butler. But I think Steph's just fucking over this. The way that he sounds in these press conferences where he's just like, it's not a distraction. We've been dealing with it for 2 years now. He doesn't care. And he didn't care during the media day sessions when he was asked about Aaron Turner. And he was like, I don't want to talk about someone's agent like that. I don't think it's sucking the joy out of the team. I think it's sucking the joy out of talking about them, to be completely honest.
Gotcha.
I love watching Warriors basketball. And it has been mediocre. I think Bill Simmons nailed it. If you saw that clip, Steven, where he was like, I didn't want to go see Steph when I was invited to go watch him the other night. I have Clipper season tickets. I love seeing Steph Curry, but this Warriors team's boring. And I didn't want to watch them. And I kind of agree with him a little bit. I think that they're fine, but they're not what they used to be. But besides all that, as far as like discussing the Warriors, it's always with Kuminga. So for me, what?
Nothing. Just the irony of Bill Simmons, who's a Celtics fan and really, really hates the Lakers, just buying Clippers season tickets.
He's just an NBA nut. I guess he lives in LA. I didn't know that. I thought he lived on the East Coast.
Yeah, he's been running the ringer out of Los Angeles for a while now.
Gotcha. But I agree. I think that this, like I'll get into it more once football season's over. And I watched every Warriors game for the most part. Not today, obviously. But just talking about them, it comes with the Kuminga conversation. And that's like, yes, there was a lot of bullshit always with this team, but it was, overshadowed by the winning. The winning overshadowed everything else. Like the KD stuff with Draymond, the Jordan Poole punch. Yes, it was annoying, but at least we had the actual basketball. So I just want to get back to that. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I hear you. I got to be honest though. Watching this offense and seeing it, Draymond Green had that conversation with Steve Kerr where it was the heart to heart. If we're gonna actually talk about the real basketball team instead of just Jonathan Kuminga,
yeah.
I'm thinking, God, if they could find a way to move him, because I don't think I understand he's the director in all of this, right?
You talking about Draymond?
Draymond, he's a point forward, but I'm like,
Yeah.
God, if they could move him, because it just feels like now with Draymond, if there's anyone who might be bringing the team down at times, it's probably him. I mean, he's picked it up over this last, really in the new year. He came off the stretch where I think he had double-digit turnovers in like two out of the last 3 games, and then he had 3 straight where he only had single-digit turnovers, which he hadn't done all season, or just one turnover, which he hadn't done. But it feels like now we've talked so much about pace and how the Warriors can't really keep up with it anymore. It just feels like Draymond with that style is almost, I don't know, it feels like the offense just flows a little bit more when he's not on the floor. Like against the Knicks, they were down 17 until Jimmy Butler, DeAnthony Melton, and Al Horford brought him back in it. And it's not to say those guys are up-tempo players, but at least with the starting 5, I wonder what they would be like without Draymond. And this is the first time I've really wondered that. Even after the punch and all the ejections and everything, I've mostly been a Draymond defender, a guy who normally has his back, much like I have yours, Derek.
I appreciate that.
Usually do, but this season it feels like if there's going to be like one big change they need to make, it almost might be if you could swing a superstar with including Draymond in the trade package.
Yeah, I just don't know if Steph Curry's going to sign off on that. And I think that, I hear you. The offense,
it's the first time I've ever thought this. Like, I don't want to sit here and say I've been beating the drum for them to move off Draymond for years. Like, this is the first where I'm like, God, it might be better off without him.
I got to see a little bit more of it, and I doubt it's going to happen by February 6th. Maybe a conversation in the offseason, but maybe it's where Draymond comes off the bench, and that's a better flow for the offense. But we'll have plenty of time to talk about that. I just think that as far as the Kuminga news, I'm over it.
Whatever.
And I'd say let's not bring him up until there's actually news where he's dealt.
Yes.
How about that? All right. We'll get to the divisional round of the NFL playoffs, but real quick, I find this really interesting. I doubt you will, Stephen, but the whole John Harbaugh thing going to the Giants, sounds like he's going to be the head coach of the New York Giants. But everybody saw that report. I think it was Wednesday night. It was midnight East Coast time, but Adam Schefter put out the tweet, and I'll bring it up here to get the proper wording and everything. I laughed at it because I was like, this is kind of a little too early, but okay, if you want to be first, that's fine. That's the way journalism is these days. Adam Schefter tweets out, John Harbaugh and the Giants are working to finalize an agreement to make him New York's next head coach. And barring a setback, a deal is expected. A deal is not final, and contract numbers still are being negotiated. And a source says there is still a lot of work to do, but barring any setbacks, Harbaugh is ready to accept the Giants deal, and the Giants are expected to hire him as soon as possible. So, saw that. My man John Curley texted me being like, we got some action. And I'm like, I guess we do. That's just weird phrasing of it, but sure. I guess it's, on the cusp of actually happening. I saw Adam Schefter go on SportsCenter that night, kept saying over and over again, this is not finalized, but it's going to happen. And I was like, is he so fucking thirsty to be first that he went above everybody else? Like, I usually get all the notifications of all the NFL insiders. And it's, usually Schefter and Rappaport and Garofolo and Pelissero. And none of them were up at midnight tweeting about this. Maybe they were sleeping. Maybe they just didn't think it was the right thing to do because it's not actually official. And these guys don't wait till things are official by the team. They wait till the agent texts them and say, okay, the deal is done. But I only saw Schefter and, of course, Jordan Schultz tweeting about this. And then nothing has been finalized. The next day, nothing happened. We're at Saturday now, and nothing's happened. Probably will. But I just like the back and forth nature of these insiders where I think Rappaport the next day had to be like, yeah, it's in the works, but nothing's finalized. So they feel obligated. They have to talk about it now. And then I saw Tom Pelissero on Rich Eisen and Good Morning Football say, like, yeah, I got to be honest, all that reporting on Wednesday night seemed a little premature. How nothing's finalized yet. And yes, it seems like he's going to sign this deal, but nothing's done. Nothing's done at all. So even though we talked about it, ESPN and NFL Network have this merger, and technically Rappaport and the NFL insiders are coworkers, they hate each other. And I think the fact that Schefter put this information out there pisses them the fuck off.
Listen, man, if we are going to make a hit motion picture called All the President's Men with Robert Redford and Dustin Hoffman, and you're having, I forgot the names.
Never seen it.
I forgot the names of those two reporters, but pretty much this was two reporters from the Washington Post who are working and speaking to all these sources. I think one of them was called, God, the name of that, God damn it. I can't remember the name of his source. It was, what was that movie Linda Lovelace was in? Like one of the first porn movies to ever come out?
In
the 80s.
Not Debbie Does Dallas, right?
No. Hang on. I got to find the name because this is like
Deep Throat?
Deep Throat. That was the name of the source in all the
Woodward and Bernstein.
Name. Yes. Bob Woodward and Howard Bernstein, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Skills.
Deep Throat was the source. And I would love it. If we can make a movie about that, let's make a movie about sports reporters. Let's do it. Because I can picture just Adam Schefter like, oh, God. You know, the source within this Giants building that whoever he has. He's like, oh, God. Hey, what are you doing? You're fucking me over. I went on there. I went on ESPN and everything. And it's like.
That's your Schefter.
That's my Schefter. That went on ESPN.
I have sources. You were my source, and you fucked me. You fucked me hard.
I think we should do that. I think we should be the ones to fast track that. We'll get the script going. We'll find a producer, and then we'll get this thing debuting at the Sundance Film Festival in 2031.
Yeah, I'm down. I've always wanted to make like a sitcom or a TV series about NFL insiders because I'm so fascinated by that stuff where they're just weird people. They don't operate like the rest of us. They're so glued to their phones. They will drop their family at the get rid of their family at the drop of a hat, or not get rid of their family, but they'll just walk away. They'll cut off events to go report the news. I've read stories about Schefter and Adrian Wojnarowski being like, I can't plan family trips, or Sham Sharani is like, I can't go on dates because I never know when news is going to break, which is insane to me.
Yeah,
but yeah,
he spent my whole idea of being like a sports insider flipped when Shams admitted, I average 17 hours of screen time a day.
Yeah.
Which is just unhealthy.
It's bad for your health.
No human being is meant to do that. Like Shams, it's great. I'm sure you get such a rush from this sports reporting, and you're the top dog at ESPN, and everyone knows who you are, and you have millions of followers, and everyone goes to you whenever they need NBA news. But good God, man. Do you take a step back and think of the quality of life when you're staring at a phone screen for almost the entire day?
Not when you're getting paid the money he is, and you're bumping and rubbing elbows with the executives and players he knows. And he's young, but yeah, he'll catch up with you. I think it's a young man's game. That's why a lot of these older reporters I don't care about breaking news anymore. And this goes back to the conversation we had last podcast about, is there journalism anymore? This really isn't a story yet. Yes, I think everybody knows that John Harbaugh is going to sign with the New York Giants, but Adam Schefter wanted to be first so bad that he put this out there. And maybe it's not his fault. Maybe the Giants told him to do this. Maybe Harbaugh's representation told him to do this. But I read that and I was like, this seems a little too early for this. And yet everybody else was like, yeah, nothing's done. And it's just funny to me where Shams is the lone wolf. It used to be Adrian Wojnarowski and him were rivals, and they were competing with the first story. But now it's all Shams, really, when you think about it.
I don't really, but also you kind of said a word that triggered me. I don't consider this journalism. I don't consider what they do as journalism.
Oh, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
When I'm saying it, I'm not saying that whatsoever.
Yeah.
Well, I'm relating it to the Lynn Jones thing this past weekend because there's such a conversation about, is there journalism anymore? Right. And this isn't journalism. This is just breaking a story with sources. I'm not saying that Adam Schefter just got this out of thin air,
right?
But he wanted to be first.
It's just news we're going to hear about eventually.
Exactly.
If a guy is hired by the Giants, like in
Yep.
the New York Giants, someone
wait,
will
never
announce
mind.
it. And at some point, the New York Giants would post on their own Twitter account saying, we have officially hired John Harbaugh. And that's really all the news that we need. There's no true value in us knowing breaking news such as this one. Injuries, sure. But with this sort of stuff, with guys getting new jobs and I don't know, free agents signing contracts somewhere, we're gonna get that news eventually. Like I don't really consider what they do to be like super important, to be honest.
No, it's not. It's just like, when you see the breaking news graphic on your phone, you're like, oh, there it is finally. But what, like, everybody else reacted to it like it was done. When I saw it, I was like, that's interesting. And usually you get everybody else, Diana Rossini and Mike Silver and everybody else tweeting about it. Everybody else stayed silent. I was like, ew, this is weird by Schefter, but not surprising. So eventually John Harbaugh will be hired. I'm assuming it's going to happen probably Tuesday where they're going to introduce him. It sounds like it. And it sounds like the sticking point with the contract is he wants full autonomy of the organization as far as not like to run the Giants himself, but his final say on personnel. He gets to report to the owner himself as opposed to going through Joe Shane. And I wonder what his power is going to be after this. But yeah, it's going to happen. It's just funny the timing with the reporting. As far as other stuff, I just read that it sounds like Jeff Hafley's the front runner for the Dolphins job. So we'll see if that happens. I don't know about that one. I think the defense looked like shit after Micah Parsons went down. So I don't know how he's a good defensive coordinator, but maybe another year with the Packers would be good for him. And then it sounds like Kevin Stefanski is going to be your head coach with the Atlanta Falcons. We'll see if that comes to fruition. But yeah, John Harbaugh's going to the Giants. I just think the timing of the reports are a little weird to me, but that's just Schefter's style.
Yep. I want Josina Anderson or Diana Rossini to come off the top rope and say, I've been reporting this all along.
Yeah, exactly.
I
they
knew
always want first credit. Yeah. Okay, let's get to the actual football, and let's start with the matchup that listeners of this podcast care about. 49ers and Seahawks. And I think some people were anticipating maybe Fred Warner was going to return. It was building up. I love how now when we get clips on social media, people think like, ooh, I know what's actually going to I know what's happening. I know that person's going to play now. And just because Fred Warner hit the sled a few times doesn't mean that that's all we need to see for him to come back from a dislocated leg. And sure enough, he's not going to come back. He's out. And as the reports had it all the while, he's going to be most likely healthy for the NFC Championship game. And that's what I followed. I think going off of what some other people think, or as far as like people that, are fans of the team, really, that's not trustworthy sources. I saw Brad Graham and Richard Sherman getting into it over how he looks in those video clips. And regardless, Kyle Shanahan downplayed it all the whole time. Like Grant Cohn asked Kyle, was there a setback? And he was like, no, that wasn't a setback. That was just the plan.
He didn't say anything.
Oh yeah.
He didn't say anything.
He grabbed his water, drank it, and he just goes,
he just shakes his head and then just takes a sip.
And I don't blame Kyle for doing that because, don't tip your hand. I totally understand that. So I think a lot of people got their hopes up that Fred was going to come back, but it makes sense to me. And I think this probably gives them some juice and confidence.
We also, sorry to cut you off, but we also do this thing where we romanticize the return of something like that,
Of course.
And you're hearing all the players talk about it. And, Trent Williams is like, God, even, just seeing him suit up, like whether he plays or not, just seeing him suit up, it brings you this energy and it's motivation to know that he had a broken ankle less than 100 days ago. And then when Kyle Shanahan is asked the next day to follow up on that and say, can you feel just a jolt of energy when Fred Warner's back on the field? And Shanahan's like, not really. I'm doing my own thing. I mean, you feel it in the meeting room, I guess.
Yeah.
He doesn't really have time to do all of this, this fluff where it's so magical that he's back on the field. And
he's not that type of guy.
He's not that type of guy. And I think he's done. He's done with all of that, with all of the, the media driven narratives where people can write pieces on that. And, you use a quote with Trent Williams and what he said, and you use that in the headline. You're like, ooh, I'm going to read this juicy piece of news. Whereas like, what are you going to put with Shanahan? Not really. When asked if Fred Warner's presence brings a jolt to the team.
But I'm sure it does. I'm sure that
Probably different for the players than it is for the coaches.
Yeah, I think that Kyle has expectations the entire time without Fred Warner. He's still got to coach this football team, but his presence, the fact that he's on the football field, probably gives some juice, probably gives him some confidence. It probably tells him if we win this game, he's coming back. And I wonder, look, you'll take a 45% healthy Fred Warner over Eric Kendricks at this point or Garrett Wallow, but I do wonder how effective he'll be coming back that quickly. But you'll take him. 100% you'll take him. So no Fred Warner today. The bigger news to me, and it should be for everyone, is Sam Darnold having the oblique injury.
Yep.
And when I saw that on Thursday, I was like, where the hell did that come from? Because they didn't play in a game. Did someone hit him in a practice? They had a bye week. What the hell happened here? And then you see the videos. He comes out with the Theragun, and he's like, nothing to see here. They ask him about it. He downplays it, saying like, yeah, it's something new to me. I never had an oblique injury before. I just didn't want to push it, not the day to push it. And the chances of me playing, or not playing, I should say, are 0%. And Mike McDonald kind of said the same thing, but also said, if it is Drew Lock, we feel comfortable. We feel confident and comfortable with him. And then Adam Schefter today says Sam Darnold hasn't picked up a football since Thursday, and they think he's going to play, but they don't know. They're going to see right before pregame warmups. And other reports out there from Steve Weish and others say, like, it's pretty much going to foregone conclusion that Sam Darnold's going to play in this game.
All right,
well,
let's take a look at that, because actually this video just surfaced as we were on the podcast, so I just wanted to play it. I kind of had this one.
Is it Steve Weish?
It's the Steve Weish one.
Yeah.
Because Steve Weish is usually, he's not one to just.
Yeah, I saw this one too, and yeah, he pretty much says, yeah. So,
the way Schefter presented it is like it's as if he suffered like a life-threatening injury, with the oblique, and then towards the end, he's probably going to play.
Well,
we don't know.
Schefter feeds off drama, like a little bit of suspense with this injury, but yeah, Steve Weish kind of downplays it.
I have spoken to a Seattle Seahawks official regarding Sam Darnold's oblique injury and his availability today. And they said, first off, when Darnold sustained this injury, he said it was something he had never felt before, so they were very cautious. They basically shut him down, but they said not only are they optimistic, but that Darnold himself feels super confident that he will be able to get out and play. Now, they're going to work him out before kickoff, but again, all signs are indicating that Sam Darnold will be good to go for the Seahawks.
All right.
Now, I don't think this is gamesmanship. They have nothing to gain with having this information out there. And Darnold has nothing to gain by telling everybody where he's injured on his oblique. He told everybody on Thursday it's his left side.
I thought the Fred Warner stuff was, because that's the type you alter a game plan for.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's one where you're like, ooh, okay, well, we're gonna have to face him and not Eric Kendricks and Garrett Wallow. Oh boy, all right, well, we might have to, take away all these passes over the middle that we have planned and maybe have to change up this first 15 that we've drawn. But with Sam Darnold going out, it's like, what's Shanahan going to do? What's Robert Saleh going to do if, Drew Lock is waiting in the wings?
Well, I mean, you maybe focus more on the run, and they will regardless, but I don't think there's anything as far as like they're doing something here. Mike McDonald's getting too clever. No, I think he just got a little hurt, and now they're like, this is a new injury for him. Let's take it, day by day, a little delicately. But I think he's going to play. It's just a matter of how effective he is. And yeah, I agree with you, Steven. Like Kyle has always said, like he's not a good liar. But I think there's a little bit of gamesmanship going on the last few weeks with how they want to take on this opponent that they just saw 3 weeks ago.
Sure.
But yeah, with Darnold, I mean, regardless of the injury, he was the most important player to me because I think that the Seahawks are the better team. I think that they have the formula to beat the 49ers today, obviously with their defense and the running game and all their skill position players as far as wide receivers and tight ends. But the biggest question mark is Sam Darnold. He is that guy that can easily go off and have 300 yards of 4 touchdown passes, but also can throw 4 interceptions. He's so inconsistent. And at times this year, he's been that guy that has thrown 2 interceptions against the Rams, but they'll let him on a comeback to win that game. Same thing against the Colts, where he led a game-winning drive with a field goal that went 60 yards from Jason Myers. But I just don't know what type of Sam Darnold we're going to have today. And if you ask me which QB are you more confident in, hands down, it's Brock Purdy. Which head coach am I more confident in? Kyle Shanahan. But I got to give credit to Mike McDonald. I never heard him speak before, and I thought it was funny, the Kyle Brandt segment on Good Morning Football. He went around New York and asked diehard football fans do you know who this guy is? And they were like, I have no idea who that is. And yeah, I never heard him talk, but he sounds like a no nonsense type of dude, a military brat. And a lot of people describe him as a defensive Kyle Shanahan or Sean McVay, where he's that much of a genius. It's just on the defensive side of the football. So, yeah, I give the edge to the 49ers at that department, but everything else, I have to go with the Seahawks. And if Sam Darnold's not 100%, then can the 49ers have the ability to shut down the run? Well, they weren't able to do that. They gave up 180 yards rushing with Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. And I got to believe that Clint Kubiak come up with a better game plan. You brought it up, Steven, where Kevin Patullo was not smart at all with his game plan. Like, dude, throw over the middle to Dallas Goedert or Cal Katera, the other tight end for the Eagles. Like, I think A.J. Barner could have a huge game today if they go after Eric Kendricks and Garrett Wallow. But it all hinges today, in my opinion, on how Sam Darnold plays. Either he just hands the ball off and the 49ers can't stop him, or the 49ers defense have a game plan to but slow down a little bit of the Seahawks running game. And then Sam Darnold has to make throws. You don't know whether or not he's capable of that.
Yeah, interestingly enough, though, my opinion kind of flipped on that. I had the same opinion. Just your opinion, man. Like, it was going to be about Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
But now it feels like if they can't run the football, the Seahawks, effectively, if the duo of Zach Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker can't do what they did last game, which was pretty much have the Seahawks in the 49ers territory a majority of the time, the Seahawks just couldn't score. But if they can't run the ball effectively, like, I don't think the Seahawks have any chance now. I thought there might have been a chance even with Sam Darnold healthy, just because I have seen him make some unbelievable plays to Jackson Smith and Jigba, and you mentioned A.J. Barner, but plays where you're like, God damn, that no wonder Matt Mayoko said that he had the most talented arm on the 49ers roster, because you're like, Jesus Christ. But if they can't run the ball at all, I'm not giving them any chance, like, to win this game tonight. Just none, because Sam Darnold is not going to be effective, I think, on these third down situations. If they happen to get in those situations, a lot of that time against the Seahawks, they were just so in the 49ers territory and they were controlling it by running the football. But if they can't do that tonight, I don't think they have any sort of chance.
I got to believe they have the ability to run the football, though, with just how strong their offensive line has been.
Sure.
And maybe early on, this is how I see the game going. I think the 49ers come out all jacked up. The world's against us. We're on the road against one of our hated rivals. We're playing with our hair on fire, and we're going to shut down the run initially. And they need to have the same game plan on the opening drive they had against Philadelphia, where they get the ball and go score, whether that's them taking the ball and winning the coin toss, or the Seahawks deferring it, being confident in their own defense. If the 49ers are able to score on the Seattle defense right away, then that changes things, where I'm sure they're like, damn, okay, this is different. We were able to shut them down for a full 4 quarters last time, holding the 3 points, and now we're already behind, and now we need to rely on Sam Darnold a little bit more. They need to make this game easy for Sam Darnold. But I'll say this too. I think that the Seahawks have the capability of overcoming that, where people keep saying, and it's not a wrong take by any means, but I saw Mina Kimes, who's a big Seahawks fan. She has the same thought process that I have when it comes to Sam Darnold, where if he turns the ball over, they're going to lose. I think Sam could turn the ball over and the Seahawks defense bails him out. I think the same thing with Brock Purdy, where he can make great throws tonight. I think he's also going to turn the ball over because this Seahawks defense is that good. And they're getting guys back. I think, is it Kobe Bryant, who's a corner for the Seahawks? He's back. People keep bringing up Trent Williams coming back for the 49ers, and that's huge to help with their running game. But it was the entire offensive line that was struggling against the Seattle front. And it's not just Austin Pleasant, who I thought was fine. Even Troy Aikman thought he was, okay in that game. But it was the entire offensive line that was breaking down. And to add to the Seahawks running game that was so potent against the 49ers the first time, Charles Cross is coming back, their left tackle. So yesterday I gave a convoluted analysis of how I think this game's going to go down. And in the end, I picked the Seahawks. But I will say this. If Sam Darnold does not play, or he's a shell of his former self, then yeah, the 49ers are going to win this game. No questions.
Yeah, I don't think it is at all. And I do think getting Ricky Pearsall back is huge. But I just
Do we
don't
know
know.
that though?
We don't know. That's the
Okay.
thing. We
Yeah.
we don't. He's going to test the knee pregame. I imagine that he's going to play, but I just don't think he's going to be as effective. And he was very effective in that first game, and obviously didn't play in the regular season finale. It's only going to help them to have another weapon, and you're not going to be having plays where they could stack the box, but they're doing it with their defensive rookie of the year. Like Nick Emenwari has just been like a revelation, I think. And Mike McDonald,
He's awesome.
Mike McDonald has found himself his new version of Kyle Hamilton with Emenwari. Like
Yeah.
he can play nickel, he can play safety. If he can cover like a line, he can play linebacker, he can tackle like a linebacker, he covers like a corner, and he hits like a safety. Like I see this almost as like a perfect defense. And even with Ricky Pearsall out there, I just don't know how effective he'll be when he says, I've kind of played with almost a reckless abandon with the knee. I haven't really thought about it. So it's like, are you going to think about it? Like, as you're like, can you get the same separation that you were getting early on when I'm like, God, this Ricky Pearsall guy is like emerging as a kind of a breakout star until he got injured. Is he going to be as effective? I think that's another question that I have. Like, how's even more so than Sam Darnold, just going back and watching some of that regular season finale, I'm just wondering, how are the 49ers going to move the ball? Because without Christian McCaffrey catching passes and without him being effective at all in the run game, like, I don't know if anything's going to change this week in that regard. And can they do it outside the numbers and, past 20 yards? Can they throw deep balls like that? I don't know. A majority of the time, whenever teams have thrown yards of 20 passes or more, the Seahawks are getting pressure on the quarterback nearly half the time this season. I was looking that up earlier. It's just, I don't know what's changed from last game to this one besides the addition of Trent Williams, which is going to be huge, but how effective will they really be just by adding Williams there when pressure was coming from all sides on Purdy in that last game?
Yeah, I think the same thing. I think that this is going to be a low-scoring game, and I don't think the Seahawks are going to explode offensively, but I do think that they can take advantage of the linebacking core of the 49ers right now. And honestly, people haven't been bringing this up. Diamador Lenore hasn't called out Jackson Smith-Njigba this time around, but every time they played this season, he has had pretty good numbers. The first matchup in week 1, the game a couple weeks ago in week 18. So I want to see how they cover him. And Cooper Kupp obviously had a big time third down conversion last time they played. Rashid Shaheed is healthy. I think A.J. Barner could have a huge game if they target the linebackers here, which they probably should. But yeah, Ricky Pearsall could make a huge difference for the 49ers offense because he had success going up against Tariq Woolen. And you brought that up last time, Stephen, in the Week 18 matchup. Right away, Kyle went after him, but did not have any success. So this Seahawks defense is really good. The only time that they've gave up a ton of points was early in the season when they faced the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think they lost that game like 38-35. Besides that, they've shut teams down. So I would be surprised if Brock Purdy's able to go down the field with ease like he was against the Eagles last week in the fourth quarter. But I don't think they're going to get shut down just to 3 points. So yeah, I think that Sam Darnold needs to have a big game, but I do think the Seahawks can overcome his mishaps. Same thing with Brock Purdy. I do think that he may struggle at times. He threw 2 interceptions last week to Quinyon Mitchell, but it didn't bite him in the ass. But this time around, they're playing a better offense. So yeah, and we'll pick this game, but I've made it clear, and AJ Cruz wants to call me off for saying I always pick against the Niners. Guys, come on, like, you guys see it on paper here. Like, the Seahawks are the better team, but there are factors in place. Yes, the 49ers can win this game, and I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if they do because they have the better coach. They have the better quarterback, and something special's going on here. I wouldn't say magical, as the guy on the radio said the other day on 95.7, but then was like, you can't call it magical. That's weak. There is something going on here where I think the 49ers just have no pressure on them. Yeah, they've been to hell and back, and they've seen all their players get injured for the most part, and they persevered. So what is there to lose at this point? Yes, you lose the season and won't be the same team a year from now. But at the same time, you weren't expected to do any of this shit. And
Right.
if they win this game, the Seahawks got to be like, well, how the fuck do we ever overcome this team?
Yeah.
Like, we had a better season. We went out and spent money. We reshaped our entire offense. We got rid of Geno, got rid of DK, got rid of Tyler Lockett, and now we got Sam Darnold. Paid him money. We made Jackson Smith-Njigba our focus of the offense. He's going to win Offensive Player of the Year, and we should be the team to beat in the NFC West right now. And we can't overcome this Niner team that made massive changes in the offseason. Same thing with the Rams. I'm sure the Rams, if they have to play the 49ers next week in the NFC Championship game, they're like, well, shit. Even a down year for the 49ers is a really good season for them. So I think this is massive for the 49ers in the sense of the fact that they're here and what they've accomplished. But if they're playing with house money at this point, there's so much pressure on the Seahawks.
Yes, I agree. And that's where I think the house money applies. What do you mean I need more fiber, AJ? What are you talking about? Does it look like I need to fart or take a shit? Am I making that face? Anyway.
That's a random thing to bring up. You need more fiber.
I mean, he's not wrong. He's not entirely wrong. I think, though, and this might be simplifying things because football's super complex, right? Anything can really happen. I do agree with you. I think, Ernie too brought it up. Rocket New Era brought it up last week with the Eagles, said they're kind of playing with house money. And I said, well, I don't know, because it feels like the Eagles are kind of playing with house money because they won a Super Bowl. Like they have all the money right now. Like that literally house money for them because they've won it. They've already cemented themselves as a Super Bowl champion, like all that sort of stuff. But the Seahawks, they have a lot more to prove here. They have been the 49ers' little brother in this era, when they were previously the big brother. And the fact that the Seahawks were calling all these guys out, I did think it was really funny how the Seahawks linebacker commented on Fred Warner's post saying like the road ends here, brother, or whatever it was. And then he's like, everyone's saying that a Seahawks player is calling out Fred Warner. Oh, it's on. The rivalry is on. Then he's like, dude, we were just in high school at the same time in SoCal, and we were at this showcase together, kind of choosing where we were going to go. Like we're buds. This was all just good, fun banter. Anyway, whereas Jaron Reed just goes up there and is like, I hate them. I don't like them.
Yeah.
But this time it's all the pressure on the Seahawks. And in the way to simplify it, though, it might be just the run game and the output that they have. What's the difference between the first game and the last game of the season? Christian McCaffrey had 20. There's a lot of differences where it's like Brock Purdy could actually throw the football, but and had time to do it. Sam Darnold was we watched that game together. He was meh. He didn't really do much.
The best play he had was the one I keep bringing up with the third down where he stepped up in the pocket and threw to Cooper Kupp.
Yep. And but the big difference here is that game, Christian McCaffrey had 22 carries, whereas Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet had 22 combined. And in this last game, Charbonnet and Walker combined to have 33 carries, whereas Christian McCaffrey had 8 and Brian Robinson had 2.
Yeah.
So we're talking about a 23 discrepancy there. And I think that's what the Seahawks are probably going for in this game, which is like, look, we just got to beat them at their own game here. We got to run the football. We got to control the tempo. We might not always get points, but if we're in their territory and we're have more time of possession and we're just getting off the field on defense, like that's how they're going to win this game, even with Sam Darnold with the oblique injury. Now, will that happen? I don't know, but I do think if you see the carries weighted more evenly, like if you got a triple beam scale and you got the Seahawks on one side and the 49ers on the other, if it's balancing evenly in terms of carries, I think the 49ers are probably winning this game. But if it tilts heavily in the Seahawks' favor in terms of rushing the football, then that might be what it comes down to me, which is why I kind of flipped my whole thing with Sam Darnold. Like if they can't run the football, then they're just not going to win now.
But do you believe the 49ers have the capability of shutting down that Seattle Seahawks running game for 4 quarters?
I don't know. I really don't know. It depends on how it goes. Like, are they going to have to shut it down for 4 quarters? Because the Seahawks seemingly only had to shut down the run game for a first half. And for the most part, they just had to shut down their pass defense, which includes the running back, which includes Christian McCaffrey getting a ton of production, a lot of the target share. So if the Seahawks do have to defend, or if the 49ers do have to defend the run for all 4 quarters, then it's just not going well in general, like in my opinion.
Yeah, but I don't think that if they're down in the game, the Seahawks, I think they'll still run the football. I think they're that confident in their running game. And this is what they keep talking about. Like, I remember early in the season, Kenneth Walker wasn't getting a ton of carries. And the news out of Seattle was they're just waiting until the playoffs. They're waiting until later in the season to use him as a workhorse. I got to believe if they're down in a game that they're still going to run the football. And they have the capabilities to throw to get back into football games as well. We saw it a couple weeks ago with Sam Darnold having that comeback against the Rams. The biggest question mark is just how effective Sam Darnold's going to be. And it sounds like it's not that bad of an injury. And I thought David Lombardi made a good point where I wouldn't read too much in the fact that he's questionable for the game, just because with injury designations now, there is no more probable. So I'm sure that if there was that designation, still he'd probably be probable for the game. But because they don't have that option anymore, he's questionable. I would be shocked if Sam Darnold's not going to play on this game. But if he's not his usual self, and sometimes his usual self is kind of like, oh, what the hell's going on here? Then, yeah, the 49ers should win this game. But I just feel the Seahawks are their more talented team. So,
sure. But dude, but also
go ahead.
The Darnold thing, I don't think it's nothing.
It's not nothing.
It's definitely something. But first off, this is the NFL, and you do not want to guys to call you out for your lack of toughness. Like, this is huge for Sam Darnold, not just like for, whatever Stephen A. says on First Take. Like, this is a time to prove to your team, like, you're the guy. Like, I think Nick Wagner made a really good point. Everyone's trying to pin him down for making this take because people automatically assume he's trying to compare the two quarterbacks, but he is comparing this situation much like to Brock Purdy's, where, he had the cracked ribs, he had the hurt oblique, didn't throw the football until really pregame warmups, right? And he's equating it to that because that's also the time where Brock Purdy proved to the team, oh, he's the guy.
Yeah.
Like the third string quarterback who's picked last overall. Oh, this can be the guy moving forward. Like, you go out and have a week of practice like that and go out and win in your rival's home. Like, that's huge. And I think that's even bigger for Sam Darnold. I think he's got that riding on it where it's like, this is probably my future here with the Seahawks, because next season it could be in question. As you heard Mauser last week, all the fans are thinking it when they're losing to the Rams. Like, God damn it, Sam Darnold did it again. Here we go. Like, people left. So you have that, but also, so it's not just, I don't think he's playing only for that, but I also think he's playing because this is the NFL, man. They have stuff that's going to numb your body to its core and you're not going to feel a thing. The only question is, can the 49ers get any pressure on him and potentially hit him in the oblique to where it triggers something that re-aggravates the injury? But I think they're going to numb him up so much that he's not going to feel a thing.
Yeah, there's been guys in the past. I remember there's a story with Darryl Green in the playoffs where he did not want to get a shot, but he had broken ribs. And all his teammates told him, dude, this is the playoffs. You got to shoot it up. And he did. And he made a game-saving play against the Minnesota Vikings NFC Championship game. But
vitamin T, as Pat McAfee calls it, and I've heard Lowe talk about it, timer 18, Toradol. That old Toradol. Get a little Toradol shot, you're good to go.
Yeah, I was listening to Chris Long's podcast, and he was saying every game he played in the NFL, he got shut up with Toradol. And he went to the Philadelphia Eagles, and they were like, we don't do that there. We don't do that here. And he goes, well, then Chris Long's not playing. Right. And then Doug Peterson came, and he's like, you better give him the Toradol shot then.
Yeah.
Like, they'll shoot him up today. And I think he'll be fine. I think this is, again, like going into the game, I was asked this question a couple days ago. Do you have more confidence in the 49ers defense or Sam Darnold? And right now, I probably leave 49ers defense, even though they're banged up and I haven't been confident in them the entire season. But I could just see Sam just having a bad game. At the same time, I don't know if it's bad enough where they lose the game. So I don't know. I'm going all over the place with this. But to your point, Steven, with you got to play because then, your team's behind you. It's a bad look if you don't play. I go back to, and this is a different situation or different, obviously city where, if Sam Darnold loses this game, it's not talked about a lot on First Take, but I remember 15 years ago, Jay Cutler didn't play in that game, the NFC Championship game against the Green Bay Packers, and that was a big time rivalry game, but it was to go to the Super Bowl, and he did not come back in the second half, and that haunted him the rest of his career when he was with the Chicago Bears, because you don't get that opportunity back. He stayed there a few more seasons and was fine, but everybody talks about the fact that Jay Cutler did not finished that game. He was on the sideline with his helmet, didn't even go to the locker room. It was a bad look. I forget the injury, but it was bad enough for him to not go out there where people were like, you should have probably played. It's the fucking NFC Championship game. And they had, God, who was it? Caleb Haney go out there and almost win the game for him. And that was definitely awkward for Jay Cutler. With Sam Darnold, dude, you're playing the 49ers, a team that you played for, you have a lot of respect for, but at the same time, they have kicked the Seahawks' ass consistently since the Brock Purdy era, I should say. So you need to play in this game. You need to play 100%.
Yeah.
All right. Should we pick this game along with everything else from Divisional Weekend?
It's the best.
Let's finally do it. I think people know where I'm going here, but let's just do the pomp and circumstance of wins or wangs Divisional Weekend, and we'll spend some time on these other games too. But all right, Steven, the line has not moved, even though we got the Sam Darnold news. So I think everybody is assuming he's going to play, and he will. The Seahawks are 7-point favorites, over under 44.5.
Seahawks win, 49ers cover, take the over.
Take the over?
Yeah. How about that?
Yeah, I'm doing the exact same thing. No, sorry, not the exact same thing. I'm taking the under. I think it's a low-scoring game, and I know this is going to twist the knife even more to Niner fans because I'm a hater. I think the Seahawks win this game 23-17, the exact same score back in the 2013 NFC Championship game.
Well, also, listen, man. Anytime we've picked the Niners to lose, they go on to win. So this is reverse psychology. You should be liking this. 49er fans should be loving this right now.
I'm doing the reverse of Tim, where Tim picked the Seahawks yesterday because he's the Tim Reaper. But I'll also say, I thought this was a good line from Scott Van Pelt the other day, where he said, I hate haters, or I hate the term hater, because haters are a term used by weak-minded fans when they don't like legit criticism. And I agree with that. So, look, I don't want the 49ers to lose. It's good for this podcast. It's good for KMBR to keep talking about them. But I know I just watch football, and I'm just being honest with you guys. I think the Seahawks have the formula to win this game. But would I be the least bit surprised if the 49ers pull off the upset? No.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't.
I'm telling you, like, the thing is, I was just, to be honest, at the beginning of the week, I thought, man, something special is happening with the 49ers. I'm probably going to take them to beat the Seahawks. But then as I'm sitting there like the ringleader in the World of Warcraft episode in South Park, where, you know, he's just kind of like leaning at the back, like eating chips, just clicking. That was me on NFL Pro watching the regular season finale. I'm just like, I'm watching things and I'm just, God, I don't know what's going to change with the offensive line and the defensive line. Like, are the Seahawks just going to control the line of scrimmage again? Probably, because they just got so much firepower. Like, Tank Lawrence has been a revelation. Leonard Williams is awesome. Jaron Reed could be an all-pro if you wanted to. A lot of the pressures that they were getting, it wasn't because of one-on-one matchups where a guy just got beat. It was because all of them worked in unison. Like, it's almost artful watching the Seahawks defense. And I even mentioned it after, I think, the early part of the season, where they just have so many disguises, so many different things they could do, where the offensive line just looks confused. I mean, there's one play where Tank Lawrence, he's the edge rusher, yet he beats Dominic Pooney. And I don't even know if I should blame Pooney for that, because it's just like, it could be another offensive lineman who didn't do his assignment. And, you know, I probably should know more about that if I'm going to be sitting there watching film. But they just did it in such a variety of ways. Like, no matter what the 49ers offense looks like, thinking, God, how are they going to be able to beat that front four? And whenever they did blitz, which was 5 times, they were Purdy was 1 of 5, and it wasn't pretty. So
I need to get on the NFL Pro, but I'm with you on everything you're saying, man. I think that it's not going to look like the same, but you know, I was listening to Daniel Jeremiah talk to Brock Heward on his on his radio show, and he said that he kind of expects the same defensive performance from the Seahawks, and it would take a Canton-like game plan from Kyle Shanahan for them to win. Yeah. I don't know if it needs to go that hyperbolic, but I think that it would be damn impressive if Kyle pulled this one off. And you have to think Kyle in a different way, as far as, yes, he doesn't have the hardware to say that he's the best coach in football, but he's just different. He's different than Andy Reid, he's different than Sean McVay, he's different than these CEO coaches. He's just Yeah, he's one of the best in football, hands down.
And I do
All right.
think that, but I will say, like, I know
Yeah.
we're going to pick these other games. This is my most anticipated game of the weekend. I don't think any other one really comes close.
Ooh, I would disagree.
Oh, you think so?
I think the other NFC game is damn intriguing to me. Let's just go to that one right now on Sunday afternoon. Rams and Chicago Bears. So the reason it's intriguing to me is because of the quarterbacks. And I think that you're not going to see a ton of defense. And usually I want to see some defense in playoff football games. But the weather, the fact that it's going to be maybe freezing conditions.
Oh, it's going to be freezing. It's going to be below 32 degrees. It's going to be literally freezing. It's going to be in the single digits.
Yeah. Oh,
with a
single
low
digits?
of 2. With a low of 2.
It's that low? Yesterday I saw it was going to be 19 degrees.
Oh, really? There's
Yeah.
an ESPN piece that was written on like Wednesday or Thursday that said it was going to be in the single digits with a low of 2 degrees expected.
And Chicago's always windy. We might see some snow, and people are bringing up Matthew Stafford's ineffectiveness in bad weather games. But I remember a year
where did
ago.
that come from?
Yeah, I'm not with that because I remember a year ago he played great against the Eagles. They lost that game, but it wasn't because of him. They were in the snow, and he was throwing dimes.
I looked up cold weather games for him. He threw 15 touchdowns compared to 3 interceptions in 6 freezing temperature games. But
the record's 3-3. But who cares? His numbers are fine.
But also because he was playing for the damn Lions.
Yeah, and also he did hurt his finger last week when he hit it on a teammate's helmet against the Carolina Panthers. But
it'll happen again. It happens every week.
Yeah, but I think Stafford's going to be fine. I think that
every time, dude. It's just every time it's the way that he flings the football. It's the motion, right? He has that arch that you always try to do, like as a white guy, like shooting a 3-pointer. I'm trying to.
Yeah.
As long as you have the hand,
he extends his fingers.
Then it looks good.
Yeah.
This one with him, it's always crashing into a helmet, like every other week.
Yeah, and I think for this matchup, look, the Bears were equal parts lucky to win that game, but also resilient in their own way, where that's just how they've won this entire season. They're down in games, they find a way to come back, and that makes you clutch. That makes you prepared for these type of moments. But I think the injuries to their defense, they're missing TJ Edwards and linebacker, and that's where I think that Sean McVay can expose them with their 13 personnel. They're getting Terrence Ferguson back at tight end.
Damn, when was TJ Edwards ruled out?
Early in that Packers game.
Oh, shit.
So I think they're going to be able to run the football. I think no one's been able to stop the Rams offense, really, with the exception of the Falcons for the first half in that game. Then they came back and tied it up. But I think that they're going to score some points. It's just a matter of can this Rams defense hold? And for the most part, they have not. They were good early on in the season, and lately they've just, they faltered. They have given up big leads. Happened last week where they were up 14-0 in that playoff game. So I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if the Rams are up in this game and then the Chicago Bears take the lead. But how clutch can Puka Nacua be and Devontae Adams? It's entire offense. So in the end, I'm giving the edge to the better quarterback and the head coach. So I'm going to go, well, before I give you my pick, Rams are favored by 4. The Chicago Bears are the home team. The over-under is 48.5. I'm going with the Rams. I'm going to lay the points, and I will go definitely over on the 48.5.
I'm doing the same thing. I am. I just think both him and I think Devontae Adams is going to be a key here. I think they just have too much firepower on offense, and I don't think the Bears are going to be able to handle it. The Packers, to me, it was a situation where the Packers kind of lost that game. Not so much the Bears won it. Like, it took some amazing, unbelievable plays. And the Rams are absolutely, I guess you could say I want to say their defense is kind of, I want to say it's depleted, but their defense isn't all that strong unless they're getting a pass rush. Because, God, like, sometimes teams can just dice them up. But
Secondary's not great. Everything else is good, but the secondary's not good.
I still think the Rams can... I still think the Rams are going to not blow them out, but I do think 4 points is too small for that. And I don't know if the Bears are going to have a comeback like they had last week.
Yeah. And then today, the game before Seahawks and 49ers, Buffalo taking on the Denver Broncos. Initially, the Buffalo Bills were 1.5-point favorites, but that has switched. Now the Broncos, 1.5-point favorites, over under 45.5. You got Ed Oliver coming back. You got Curtis Samuel coming back for the Bills. But they're going to be missing Maxwell Hairston, their rookie corner. I think he's been out for a while now, maybe the last few games. Jordan Poyer, their safety, is out as well, but he's getting up there in age. So I know people are in on the Broncos defensively, but I don't know, man. It's just the Josh Allen effect. And again, I probably would lean towards the quarterback in this situation as opposed to Bo Nix, who I don't have a lot of faith in.
Yeah, there's a reason why it's close, though. And I do think it's going to be a really close game. And I think it is going to come down to the quarterbacks. So I am going to take the Bills to win. You already gave the over-under, right? It's 45.5?
45.5, yep.
45.5 is yeah, I'm going to take the God, 45 is going to be so close. Because I saw a 24-20 score in here predicting the 49ers and the Seahawks. I could see a 24-20 game happen in here. So yeah, I'm going to go under. I'm going to go under on the 45 and a half, but I'm also going to lay the point or just take the Bills to win.
Yeah, I am too, man. Where I think you don't like Josh Allen need to be Superman a week ago against the Jacksonville Jaguars, but I don't think he needs to be here. I think they can run the football on this team. I don't think the Broncos will move the ball that well, honestly. Their running game hasn't been great. They don't have J.K. Dobbins back. It's going to be R.J. Harvey, and he's kind of inconsistent. Their number one wide receiver is Cortland Sutton, and even though they don't have Maxwell Hairston, I think their defense played pretty well last week, just being opportunistic with some turnovers there. And this is a big spot for Bo Nix. All the pressure, well, there's pressure on Josh Allen, 100%. There's pressure on Bo Nix, too. And I got to believe that the Bills' defense has been inconsistent this season. They have the number one pass defense, but they definitely have given up a lot of points this year. But I think it doesn't hurt you if you don't score a ton in this game. You just punt it back to Bo Nix and see what happens there, where I don't think he's going to kill you in this game. So, yeah, I think that I just have more faith in Josh Allen, even though that it's kind of similar to the Seahawks in the 49ers game where you give the edge to the quarterback. You probably give the edge to the running back. But everything else, you give the edge to the Broncos. But I just trust the quarterback more. So with that logic, I'm going with the Buffalo Bills. I'll take the under as well. And yeah, also, I'm not a Sean Payton hater by any means, but I don't like the way he handled things with the media this week. You see that one clip where maybe the terminology was wrong, and maybe Dre Greenlaw doesn't technically go downhill or attack downhill as a defender, but just to split hairs and to call out the media member was like, you think he attacks downfield or downhill? Is that what you think? No, you're wrong there. You're wrong. It's like, Sean, chill the fuck out, dude. Like any other coach would be like, well, technically he doesn't do that, but I just thought it was too much. And Sean Payton, I think, is a really good head coach, but he could be an asshole sometimes.
I don't think so.
You thought it was fine?
Yeah. I think it's him and a reporter having a good rapport, and the reporter's pretty scrawny, talking about going downhill and making hits. And the reporter went on later to say that he came up to me afterwards just to say that he was just joking. It didn't actually mean anything by it, and they both laughed about it afterwards.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that part.
Yeah.
I probably should know the whole story before I judge.
Yeah.
He was going to be my jackass of the week, but I take it back now.
I thought it was funny how he called out Broncos fans for not knowing when to cheer during the huddle. Look, if it's on third down, don't cheer after the huddle. Cheer as they're going into the huddle. It's like telling fans how to act.
Yeah, but Peyton, all right, AJ Cruz and Roccanuera. Peyton is a freak. Like, you know how he's, crazy about his juicy fruit and the way that everything has to be perfect for him. So I think the Saints fans knew, how to cheer better.
Yeah.
Where Broncos fans do as well, but he's just being so meticulous with the whole thought process. So we're both on the Bills there. All right. Last one, Houston Texans taking on the New England Patriots, battle of former linebackers turned head coaches, and really good defenses. A lot of people are comparing this Houston Texans defense to that of maybe the Broncos 10 years ago, or the Ravens or the Bucks, all championship defenses, and they have that caliber of defense. But I don't know about CJ Stroud. Well, what's up?
Nothing. Keep going. I'll show you after. This has to do with the Texans, and this has to do with the game.
Gotcha. CJ Stroud had a bad performance last week, but it didn't bite him in the ass. 2 fumbles, interception thrown. They're not going to have Nico Collins, right, which I think is pretty big.
That's massive.
Yes. The Patriots are 3-point favorites, over under 40.5. And I think both quarterbacks are going to get sacked. I think Will Campbell struggled at left tackle, but I got to lean Patriots here just for being the home team. And I think that Nico Collins absence is a huge factor. So I'll take the Patriots. I'll lay the points, and I'll go under.
Yeah, that's an interesting one, man. This is one where I don't really know how to even handicap it, really. I mean, I'd like to pick the Patriots because it feels like just because they're at home, but God, that Texans defense was so good against Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers. But I think even with an MVP candidate like Drake May, like, can they be as effective running the football as they've been all season? Screw it, man. I'm going to take the Texans to win, and I'm going to take the under.
Alrighty. Finally, one we differ on as far as picking a team.
Well, you know why I'm doing that, right?
Why is that?
Well, it's because of ESPN. I am convinced this was hilarious. So
all of the panel picking the Texans?
Yes.
Yeah.
I loved it. More so their reactions afterward. This is the same as when was that? What was that?
It was
Schefter and Dan Orlovsky.
Yeah, it was Schefter renouncing the Aaron Rodgers trade to the Jets, and Big Swagoo, like, in the middle of it being like, "I told you so," and he's like, "Hey, shut up, shut up."
Yeah. Dude, I don't know, man. ESPN, dude, I love Swagoo, dude. I really do.
It happened again this past week where Big Swagoo, they were talking about Mike Tomlin. He's like, if I'm Mike Tomlin, I'm coaching this team, and I'm coaching that team. And Schefter just goes, he's not coaching this season. He's like, yeah, but let's just say he's not coaching this season, Swagoo. Yeah, but like hypothetically, he's not coaching. He's not going to coach this season.
We had another Renaissance painting here.
Look at our picks in this one. I got to say, I was surprised. We are all.
No way.
No way.
Because no one wants to be a meme anymore. No one wants to be...
No.
I
know.
Sorry, I accidentally hit the pause button or the play button there as you were talking.
Yeah, well, no, it's fine. But like everybody, like, you know, they want to be the smartest person when it comes to analyzing a football game.
Sure.
So the Texans become the trendy pick because of the defense, and it'll also be an upset technically. But everyone now from the social media departments, if you pick against their team, then they all screenshot that, and then like, whoa, look like you're not that smart in the first place. Like, everybody's picking the Seahawks, and every 49er fan account's like, just remember this. Just remember this on Saturday.
Yeah.
All right, Steve, that's all I got. I got to head on BART to go to San Jose to catch up with our friends to watch the games. I don't have anything for pop culture catch-up, and I guess my jackass of the week was Sean Payton, but he's not so much of a jackass now that you give me that new information.
My jackass of the week is the Dodgers. Jackasses.
You can't be mad at them. For Kyle Tucker?
No, dude, I do think, though, like, with all the deferrals that are going around, not just with the Dodgers, but I saw like Alex Bregman's deal was like, there's a good chunk of it that's deferred.
Yeah.
I do think that this is going to impact negotiations because Derek, it's because of this. It's because of this.
I hear you. Go ahead.
I don't think a majority of people are on the side of, say, like Chris Mad Dog Russo, who goes on to Dan Patrick yesterday and says like, I mean, they're doing it within the rules, but something's got to change. I mean, this is a joke. This is ridiculous. You know, there's a lot of people on one side of that. And then there's people on the other side who are kind of like, why do you keep complaining? Like, the rules are there. They're implemented. How about you actually do what the Dodgers are doing and try to actually make something off a TV deal where you're making billions of dollars and continue to reinvest that money into the team instead of, say, some 100-year-old theater in downtown San Francisco.
That's my thought.
You know what I mean? Like, I think it's very much split. And I think that's why you're going to see.
But what do you think?
A lot of people butting heads. I think something needs to change. I think kind of the baseball's been corrupt for a really long time, even going back to Bud Selig. I think not having a salary cap at all is such a mistake. But I also understand that a lot of the players don't want a salary cap.
Yeah, I mean, you saw Bryce Harper this offseason, or not this offseason, but during the season. Rob Manfred went to go visit the Phillies, and Bryce Harper told him to get the fuck out because of the suggestion that there might be a salary cap.
Right. It's like they have to wait 7 years to make an actual contract, and now you're just going to tell us that we can only make a limited amount on said contract? Like, I don't think any players excuse me, I don't think any players are going to go for that. But
They
I do
won't.
think something needs to be done with these deferrals. Like the fact that the Dodgers and the Red Sox and whoever are going to be getting these Bobby Bonilla deals done where they could just pay guys in 2040 and that way you could pay even more players in real time. I do think something needs to be done about that. I don't know the ins and outs of it. I don't know how, but I do think there's going to be a lot. It's not going to be like the WNBA right now where the players union, each of them are on the same page. It's the players union against the WNBA. Like, I don't think it's going to be that. I don't think it's
Yeah.
going to be the union against Major League Baseball. I think it's going to be the union against the union. I think there's going to be so many disagreements there, which is why I do kind of envision a potential lockout in 2027.
I think that there will be a lockout in the offseason. I don't think we miss games. I don't think it gets that far.
Maybe I don't know. I really don't know. I'm very interested to see like how they go about it. Is the salary cap even going to be a discussion?
Yeah.
The salary floor, okay, great. You got these lesser teams spending a little bit more money, but are they really going to get that much better and compete with the Dodgers? Like, no.
And I get it that like baseball's not fair where it's based on how much money you make as an organization. So there is no salary cap. So that's why the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Red Sox, all these teams can spend more. And that's why the A's historically have never spent money. But now they are because they're in a different location and getting a little bit more money. But every team could do this. That's why, like, I understand the frustration and I get it. I'm not surprised that Kyle Tucker went to the Dodgers. At the same time, the only people, as far as like Giants fans, the only people you should blame are not really the Dodgers because they're within the rules right now. If they change the rules, then by all means, then it's more fair and balanced. But the only people that you should be blaming are the Johnsons because it is their fault that they're not spending money. I think Buster Posey would move heaven and earth to get some of these players, but he's going within the guidelines of what his owner's telling him. And they'll okay certain rules like they'll okay certain moves like Rafael Devers and others. But yeah, let's be honest too. I think they overpaid for Kyle Tucker. Is he worth $60 million a year?
It's a good question.
Probably not, but they could do that because they're the freaking Dodgers. So it is what it is.
If you're placing Kyle Tucker in between the likes of Mookie Betts and Shohei Ohtani,
it's worth it.
I saw the projected lineup. I'm like, good fucking God.
I know.
But then again, it's not like the Dodgers have been obviously really, really good in the regular season and been steamrolling teams then. But in the postseason, like the Blue Jays took it all the way to 7 games. And we actually had one of the best World Series like performances that we've ever seen just by both teams. It's not like the Dodgers are just out there sweeping the competition, right? They're winning, but they have proven that they could be beat. And there are other teams out there who can. It's just this does give them much more of an advantage. And I do think, once again, that it's going to impact the CBA beyond 2026. I really do.
Last thought on this. I'll say that, yes, the Dodgers can be beat and they won't have like the best record in all of baseball when they probably should. But when they make moves like this is what makes them get the crazy out in the bottom of the 9th or get that hit in the extra innings. It's just that little extra edge that they have where the Blue Jays play their damnedest and they spend money too, but it's just that the extra money that the Dodgers put into that baseball team, that's what makes them find a way to be clutch in the bottom of the 11th or however long that game went.
Mm-hmm.
That's what made the Warriors spectacular, where they were able to go to a game 7 and take the hurt out of the Houston Rockets. It's just when you were able to go the extra mile when it comes to the offseason and pay certain guys, that's where you can kind of be lackadaisical in the regular season and not have a great record. But then when you get into the postseason, that's when guys go, that's when they turn the lights on. That's when things get better.
Yeah. We'll see, man.
All right, everybody. That's going to be it for today. We'll probably just do YouTube only today because I don't have a ton of time. So, all the stuff will be dated by the time that the shit gets posted. So, YouTube only today. To everybody in the chat, thanks to Rock and New Era. Thanks to Skills. Thanks to AJ Cruz. Thanks to... I don't think we saw Ernie 1. Yep, Ernie 1 is in here.
I got to tell you, AJ Cruz, if you were feeling how I was feeling right now, you wouldn't think you need more fiber. Oh, good God.
You okay? All right, we'll get off then. Danny Golding. I believe that's it, everybody. We'll see you on Tuesday. Steven, say what you always say.
Bubble guts.